Business law, special types of contracts. Hello students, welcome to the lecture on special types of contracts. After this lecture, you will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the contract of agency, define the essential for a valid agency, discuss the different kinds of agents, discuss the mode of creating agency, understand the extent of agent's authority, explain the delegation of authority by agent, explain the duties of agent, understand the termination of agency by operation of law. Now let us know more about concept of contract. But before that, let's see this video for understanding a contract.
Have gotten burned in a situation, and it's become well known that having things laid out on paper and having a document to enforce a plan is necessary. And I think with an artist and a manager, a contract between the two, it's a good exercise regardless, which is essentially you're putting something down on paper and you're laying out what's expected and how things are going to be handled monetarily, and it's a good process regardless. If you're entering into a relationship both as an artist and a manager, you should be viewing it seriously, and putting something down on paper shouldn't be a problem. Now, there are some situations where an artist and manager have a very strong relationship and they don't have a contract. I typically wouldn't recommend that, but there are situations where it is worked, and I would say it's a small percentage that's the case. Contracts in general, there's so many contracts and legal terms for an artist's career, whether it's contracts for shows, for live engagements, recording contracts, video contracts. There's quite a bit of legal paperwork that's involved, and it's all important and it's all necessary. And I think a lot of times people shy away from that end of it, and there's very few people who enjoy dealing with it, but you have to have it. If you don't protect your artist by having the proper contracts in place, it will eventually come back to haunt you. And if you don't cover every detail, it'll be that detail that comes back and causes a problem. So I think that the contracts are very important, that you have to ultimately embrace the situation, understand that it's important, find a good lawyer, learn a good amount about law yourself, which will typically happen from experience, reading through contracts and understanding them. But I think an understanding of law as you go along is very important, having the right lawyer and getting the right contracts in place for your artist.
The importance of contract. Agency in law, the relationship that exists when one person or party, the principal, engages another, the agent, to act for him, example, to do his work, to sell his goods, to manage his business. The law of agency thus governs the legal relationship in which the agent deals with a third party on behalf of the principal. Hence, the process of concluding a contract through an agent involves a twofold relationship. On the one hand, the law of agency is concerned with the external business relations of an economic unit and with the powers of the various representatives to affect the legal position of the principal. On the other hand, it rules the internal relationship between principal and agent as well, thereby imposing certain duties on the representative. The Indian Contract Act 1872 deals with the different principles of contract. A contract creates different rights and liabilities for the parties. It also discusses the different concepts which are related in the formation of an agreement and legally bind the parties entered into the contract, like the capacities of parties to contract, performance of contract, and discharge of contract. Contract of agency. A person cannot do every business transaction by him because of time constraint and business complexity. Therefore, business people perform many activities through another person. The person who carried out the transaction on behalf of another is known as an agent. This arrangement is known as contract of agency. Agent. A person employed to do any act for another or to represent another in dealings with a third person is known as an agent. Principal. The person for whom such an act is done or who is so represented is called the principal. Essential for a valid agency. The essential for a valid agency or feature of agency are discussed as under. Agreement between the principal and the agent. An agency is created by an agreement between the principal and the agent. The agency may be expressed or implied. Agent must act in representative capacity. An agent must represent his principal and act on his behalf. The agent must have the power to create a legal relationship of his principal with a third person. Thus, the agent need not be a competent person. Even a minor or lunatic can act as the agent. Consideration. The contract of agency can be created without consideration. The fact that the principal has agreed to be represented by the agent is a sufficient detriment to the principal to support the contract of agency. Capacity of party. For a valid contract of agency, the principal must be a competent person to enter into a contract. Thus, a minor or a person of unsound mind cannot appoint the agent. A major and competent agent working for an incompetent principal will be personally liable for his act to third party. On the other hand, any person may become the agent and he need not be competent to contract. It means even a minor or a person of unsound mind may be appointed as the agent. An incompetent agent is not liable to the principal. Test of agency. To determine whether a person is or is not the agent, one should ask, has that person the capacity to bind the principal and make him answerable to a third person by bringing him into legal relation with that third person and thus establish a privities of contract between that party and the principal? If the answer is yes, he is the agent, otherwise not. Agent. An agent has the authority to act on behalf of the principal and to create contractual relations between the principal and third person. An agent receives commission on the basis of work done. The principal is liable for the wrongs of his agent if they are done with the scope of the authority. An agent may work for several principals at the same time. Servant. A servant does not have the authority to bind and create contractual relations between his master and third person. The servant acts under the authority of the master. A servant is paid salary or wages. A master is liable for the wrongs of a servant if they are committed in the ordinary course of the servant's employment. A servant usually serves only one master. Different kinds of agents. Various kinds of agents are enumerated below. General agent. A general agent is one who has the authority to all the acts connected with a particular trade, business or employment, example solicitors, brokers. The authority of the general agent is continuous unless it is determinated. Particular agent. A particular agent or special agent is one who has authority only to do particular transaction. For example, an agent appointed to sell a particular house or to sell a particular piece of land. Universal agent. A universal agent is one whose authority to do all the acts which the principal can lawfully do. He has unlimited authority to bind the principal. Mercantile agent. A mercantile agent is one who is authorized to sell or buy goods of the principal in the customary course of his business as such as agent. He has authority to consign goods for the purpose of sale or to buy goods or to raise money on the security of the goods. A factor is the mercantile agent entrusted with the possession of goods who has the authority to buy, sell or otherwise deal with goods or to raise money on their security. Broker. A broker is a mercantile agent who is employed to negotiate and make contracts for sale or purchase or goods on behalf of the principal, he is not given the possession of goods. He has no lien on goods. Commission agent. A commission agent is one who secures buyers for a seller of goods and sellers for a buyer of goods in return for a commission on the transaction for his labor and trouble. He buys goods in the market on behalf of his employer in his own name and on the best available terms. His position is more or less similar to that of a broker. Auctioneer. An auctioneer is the mercantile agent who is appointed to sell goods at the public auction. He has authority to receive the auction price. He has a particular lien on the goods for his charges. Mode of creating agency. The relationship of the principal and agent may be created in any one of the following ways. Agency by express agreement. Normally, a contract of agency is created by an expressed agreement, that is, the authority is expressly given by the principal to his agent. Such an agreement may be oral or in writing. No particular form or words is required for appointment of the agent. For example, contract of agency is created by power of attorney. Agency by implied agreement. An agency agreement may be implied under certain circumstances from the conduct, situation or relationship of the parties. The agency by implied agreement includes the following agencies also. Agency by estoppels. Estoppels means that a person is stopped or prevented from denying the truth of a statement which he has made. Thus, where a person by his conduct or words, spoken or written, leads willingly to another person to believe that a certain person is his agent, he is stopped from denying subsequently the fact of agency. Thus, agency is created by the implication of law. Agency by holding out. An agency by holding out is a kind of agency by estoppels. In this case, there is some prior positive or affirmative conduct of the principal which indicates that a certain person has already become his agent. Agency of necessity. It is some extraordinary situation that compels a person to act as the agent of some person without his consent or authority of that person. Such an agency is created as an agency by necessity. To constitute a valid agency by necessity, the following candidates must be satisfied. There must be an emergency. There was a necessity to act on behalf of the principal. The agent was not in a position to communicate with the principal. The agent has acted honestly and in the interest of the principal. Agency by ratification. Ratification means confirmation of the acts already done. When a person does some acts on behalf of another person without his knowledge or authority, later on, if the other person ratifies the acts done on his behalf, in such a case an agency is created by the ratification. The agent must expressly contract agent. In other words, a person must purport to act as the agent for a principal who is in contemplation, and at the time of the contract, such a principal must be identifiable. If the agent acts for himself, such act cannot be ratified by the principal. The principal must be in existence at the time of the contract. Thus, a company cannot ratify the contracts entered into by the promoters on his behalf before its incorporation. The principal must have contractual capacity both at the time of the contract and at the time of the ratification. The principle is that since ratification to prior authority, the principal must be a person competent to have authorized a transaction at its inception. Ratification must be with full knowledge of facts. No valid ratification can be made by a person whose knowledge of facts of the case is materially defective. The act to be ratified must be lawful and not void or illegal. There can be no ratification of an illegal act or an act which is void. The act to be ratified must be valid in itself and not illegal. Ratification must be done within a reasonable time. If it is made after the expiry of a reasonable time, it will not be valid. The whole act to be ratified. A person ratifying any unauthorized act done on his behalf ratifies the whole of the transaction of which such act formed a part. Ratification must be communicated. For the ratification to be effective, it must be proved that there was communication of the ratification to the party who is sought to be bound by the act by the agent. Ratification can be of the acts which the principal had the power to do. The act which the principal himself is incapable of doing cannot be ratified. Thus, a minor is not competent to act, and hence minor's act cannot be ratified. Ratification should not put a third party to damages. An act done by one person on behalf of another without such other person's authority, which if done with authority would have the effect of subjecting a third person to damages or of terminating any right or interest of a third person, cannot by ratification be made to have such an effect. Extent of agent's authority. An agent's authority means the capacity of the agent to bind his principal. The acts of the agent done within the scope of his authority bind the principal. Such an authority of the agent to bind the principal may be actual or real authority. An actual authority means that authority which has been really delegated to the agent. The authority of the agent may be expressed or implied. An authority is said to be expressed when it is given by words spoken or written. An authority is said to be implied when it is to be inferred from the circumstances of the case or the ordinary course of dealing between the parties. Ostensible or apparent authority. When the agent is employed for a particular business, persons dealing with him can presume that he has authority to do all such acts as are necessary for such a business. Such an authority of the agent is called an ostensible or apparent authority. Authority in emergency. The agent has an authority in an emergency to do all such acts for the purpose of protecting his principal from loss as would be done by a person of ordinary prudence in his own case under similar circumstances. When the agent exceeds his authority, when the agent acts beyond the scope of his authority, he will be personally liable and the principal cannot be held liable. Delegation of authority by agent. Delegation of authority. The rule is that the agent who has obtained power from the principal to act must act himself. He is not entitled to delegate his authority to another person without the consent of his principal. Exception to the rule of delegates, none protest delegate. In the following exceptional cases, the agent can delegate his authority. When the principal is aware of the intention of the agent, where there is an emergency or unforeseen circumstances, where the nature of the authority requires it, where the act is purely ministerial, where the power of the agent to delegate can be inferred, where the principal permits the appointment of a sub-agent. Sub-agent. A sub-agent is a person employed by and acting under the control of the original agent in the business of the agency. The sub-agent is the agent of the original agent, where a sub-agent is properly appointed. Where the sub-agent is properly appointed, the principal is so far as regards the third persons represented by the sub-agent as is bound by and responsible for the act as if he were the agent originally appointed by the principal. Where a sub-agent is not properly appointed, where an agent without having authority to do so has appointed a person to act as a sub-agent, stands towards such person in the relation of a principal to the agent and is responsible for his acts both to the principal and to the third person. Substituted agent or co-agent. The substituted agent is the agent appointed by original agent to act for the principal. The substituted agent acts under the direct control of the principal and not under the original agent. The agent is not concerned with the efficiency of the substitute. Difference between a sub-agent and substitute agent. The sub-agent does the work under the direct control of the agent, whereas the substituted agent works under the instruction of the principal. There is no privacy of contract between the sub-agent and the principal, and therefore the sub-agent cannot sue the principal for his remuneration. The sub-agent is not directly answerable to the principal, but both the principal and the sub-agent can sue the agent. Duties of agent. Duty to follow instruction of principal. The agent is bound to conduct the business of his principal according to the direction given by the principal. In the absence of any such direction according to the custom which prevails at the place where the agent conducts such a business. When the agent acts otherwise, if any loss be sustained, he must make it good to his principal, and if any profit occurs, he must account for. Duty to carry work with care and skill. The agent is bound to conduct the business of the agency with reasonable care and skill. The standard of reasonable care required from the agent depends upon the nature of the business and the circumstances of each case. Duty to render accounts to the principal. The agent is bound to render the proper account to his principal on demand. It is the absolute duty of the agent. Duty to communicate with the principal. It is the duty of the agent in cases of difficulty to make reasonable efforts to communicate with his principal and to obtain his instruction. Duty not to deal on his own account. The role of the agent is fiduciary in nature, and therefore the agent must conduct his business in good faith. He should not deal on his own account. If the agent deals on his account without the principal consent or without full disclosure, the principal may cancel the contract. Duty not to make secret profit. If the agent, without the knowledge of his principal, deals in the business of the agency on his own account instead of on account of his principal, the principal is entitled to claim from the agent any benefit which may have resulted to him from the transaction. Duty to pay sums received for principal. It is the duty of the agent to his principal all monies received on his behalf. However, the agent can deduct lawful expenses he has incurred for the agency work and commission from this amount. Duty to protect interest of the principal in case of his death or insolvency. On the death or insanity of the principal, the agent is determinated. However, in such a case, it becomes the duty of the agent to take all the reasonable steps to protect the interests of the principal. Duty not to delegate. The agent cannot delegate his authority to perform his act in express or implied manner unless the custom of trade or the nature of the agency so requires. Rights of an agent. The rights of the agent may be discussed under the following heads. Right to retainer. The agent may retain out of any sums received on account of the principal in the business of the agency all monies due to him in respect of the advances made or the expenses properly incurred by him in conducting such business, and also such remuneration as may be payable to him for acting as the agent. Right to receive remuneration. The agent has the right to receive the agreed remuneration from the principal. If the remuneration is not fixed, the agent is entitled to receive reasonable remuneration. The agent is entitled to receive the remuneration only when it becomes due. Right to be. The principal is bound to indemnify the agent against the consequences of all the lawful acts within his authority. Right of compensation. The agent has a right to receive compensation for the loss suffered due to the principal's negligence or want of skill. Principal relationship where agent contracts for a named principal. The position of the principal for the acts of the agent where the name and existence of the principals are disclosed is as follows. Acts of the agents are within his authority. The principal is bound by all lawful acts of the agent which are done within the scope of his authority. It means the act of the agent is the act of the principal. Agent act in excess his authority. The principal is liable only for the acts done within the authority. The principal's liability for the work done by the agent beyond his authority may be discussed under the following 2 points. When work of an agent is separable, when this agent does some work beyond the authority which is separable from the authorized work, the principal is bound by the authorized work of the agent. Number 2, when work is not separable. When the agent does some work beyond the authority which is not separable from the authorized work, the principal is not bound by whole of the work. He may cancel the whole transaction. Consequences of notice given to agent. Any notice given to or information obtained by the agent shall have the same legal consequences as if it had been given to or obtained by the principal. Principal's relation, where agent contracts for unnamed principal. When the agent contracts with the third party after disclosing the fact that he is the agent but does not disclose the name of the principal, in such a case the principal is known as unnamed principal. Principal relation, where agent contracts for an undisclosed principal. In certain cases, the agent not only conceals the name of the principal but also the fact that he is the agent. This is known as the doctrine of undisclosed principal. In such cases, the agent conveys to a third person an impression that he is a contracting as a principal himself, that is independent party. Personal liabilities of an agent. The agent is personally responsible in the following cases. When the agent acts for a foreign principal, where the contract is made by the agent for the sale or purchase of goods for the principal residing abroad, in such a case, it is presumed that the agent is personally liable. When agent acts for incompetent principal, when the principal is incompetent to enter into the contract, example in the case where the principal is a minor or where the principal cannot be sued, example where he is a foreign sovereign, the agent is personally liable as a credit is presumed to have been given to the agent and not to the principal. Where authority is coupled with interest, the agent has local stance to sue his own name in all cases where he has interest in the subject matter of the agency. Pretended agent, a person who untruly represents himself to be the authorized agent of another and induces a third person to enter into the contract or otherwise deals with him, is called a pretended agent. Termination of agency by operation of law. The agency relationship may be terminated by the operation of law in the following manner. By performance. When the transaction is completed, the agency terminates automatically. By death or insanity. Death or insanity of the principal or the agent terminates the agency. Destruction of subject matter. The agency is terminated when the subject matter of the contract of agency is destroyed. On principal becoming an alien enemy. The agency is terminated when the principal and the agent are citizens of two different countries and war breaks out between these two countries. Where agent has partly exercised authority. Where the agent has partly exercised authority, the authority cannot be revoked. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in the lecture. Summary. The Indian Contract Act 1872 deals with the different principles of contract. A contract creates different rights and liabilities for the parties. Contract of agency can be created without consideration. The fact that the principal has agreed to be represented by the agent is a sufficient detriment to the principal to support the contract of agency. A broker is the mercantile agent who is employed to negotiate and make contracts for sale or purchase or goods on behalf of the principal. Agency agreement may be implied under certain circumstances from the conduct, situation or relationship of the parties. Estoppels means that a person is stopped or prevented from denying the truth of a statement which he has made. Agent is bound to conduct the business of his principal according to the direction given by the principal.